This is Ozark Newsline. In for Gary B., I'm Randy Allen. Arkansas authorities say at least 2 people are dead after a line of powerful thunderstorms moved through the state this weekend. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says 54-year-old Roy McGann died in Whitehall Friday evening when a tree fell on the car he was riding in and struck him in the head. In Baxter County, authorities say 71-year-old Jim Colbert was at a kayak on Lake Norfolk earlier that afternoon when high winds caused it to overturn before he could make it to shore. Sheriff said in a statement on Saturday that Colbert appeared to be sitting on a life jacket but not wearing it. He says the sudden storm produced high winds, heavy rain, and caused power outages across the county. An Arkansas prison escapee who had been on the run for more than 3 decades has been recaptured. State Department of Corrections says 60-year-old Stephen Dishman was arrested Sunday at home in Springdale by local law enforcement and state troopers. Details of what led authorities to Dishman and his arrest were not immediately released. The Correction Department website says Dishman was serving a sentence for theft when he escaped on May 28, 1985. An Arkansas man has been sentenced to life in prison without parole after pleading guilty to killing a sheriff's deputy and 2 other people last month. Reports say James Arthur Bowden was sentenced Friday after taking a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. Bowden was accused in the killings of Yell County Sheriff Deputy Lieutenant Kevin Mainhart, 61-year-old Rita Miller, and 17-year-old Sierra Miller. Family members have said the Millers were relatives of Bowden's girlfriend. According to the affidavit, authorities accused Bowden of shooting Mainhart during a traffic stop, then killing Rita Miller and Sierra Miller at a nearby home about 65 miles west of Little Rock. Bowden's sister previously told the AP after the shootings that her brother was mentally ill. An Arkansas panel has voted to temporarily ban the sale and use of a herbicide that has prompted hundreds of complaints and a federal lawsuit from farmers who says it causes widespread damage to crops. State Plant Board on Friday approved the 120-day restriction on dicamba on a 9-5 vote. Dicamba is a relatively inexpensive weed killer, but can drift and damage nearby row crops such as soybeans and cotton, in addition to fruit and vegetable farms and ornamental trees. State Plant Board has received 247 complaints this year about dicamba's use, and a group of farmers filed a class action suit this month against the makers of the herbicide over damage to their crops. The restriction must also be approved by the governor and a legislative panel. Arkansas's Lieutenant Governor says he does not want a 2% pay raise a panel is recommending that he receive. Lieutenant Governor Tim Griffin on Friday said he opposes the pay raise proposed by the Independent Citizens Commission. The panel this week recommended a 2% raise for the state's constitutional officers, legislators, judges, and prosecutors. Griffin said he'll submit a letter to the panel on Monday about the proposal and said he'll decline the raise if it's approved. Griffin's pay would increase from $42,315 a year to $43,161 a year under the panel's proposal. And the regular meeting of the Batesville City Council will be taking place on Tuesday afternoon at the Municipal Building, 500 East Main Street. 5:30 is the regular meeting time. On the agenda, consideration of a resolution to seek a 50-50 matching grant from the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism Recreation Grant Program, consideration of a resolution to finance 3 dump trucks with Bancorp South, a public hearing to consider vacating and abandoning part of Broad Street, presentation for the White River Health System, and consideration of an ordinance vacating and abandoning part of Broad Street between 15th Street and Sidney Street. In for Gary B., I'm Randy Allen, and now you are up to date.